Can't do that short. Make it like 20 minutes. About what? That's like a SpongeBob episode. What are you talking about?
I know, right? Yeah. Hey, everyone, part 2. Sorry, I'm not going to do introductions. Too long for that shit. What we were just talking about is we started this video off as like, oh, we might just, short conversation, 20 minutes, and it turned out to be a long one.
We don't talk though, that's why.
But, yeah, like, what people weren't saying, what we were talking about restaurants before, and we're just mentioning about how we're not really good on food right now and stuff, but we're making it, but we're talking about restaurants, so that's kind of the content that we're going into on this, because I'm going to ask Ezra, like, have you ever worked in any restaurants actually, like, run by corporations that have given you free food?
No. So when I worked at Taco Bell, we were like, I worked there for like 4 months, something like that. I didn't work there long because they changed management. They started changing shit like midway into me working there. And eventually I was just like, fuck you guys. But they were like, you can have like $5 for lunch. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
But like the manager would come in.
Sorry, go ahead.
The manager would like come in and be like, I was like, man, I'm hungry. He's like, yeah, I know. Here's like, get whatever the fuck you want. I'm like, anything? He's like, anything. I'm like, y'all gonna be mad at me because like I'm not making the food. So I made like a bunch of shit, man. That was like my thing. I'd get like a Bel Grande and like an icy, and that was like my daily thing.
So that's the thing, though. Corporations, despite making like fucking millions or whatever, or just franchises too, is making so well, they'll still charge you and shit, and kind of treat their employees like shit. This Japanese restaurant I'm working in is the first restaurant I've ever worked in that will give us free food and stuff. Like, they feed me supper and stuff. And right now I have a fucking thing of fried rice waiting for me.
So I actually wish I did work at a Chinese restaurant. The ones here only hire Chinese people.
Yeah.
I'm dead at, like, people here are so fucking racist. They'll be like, dude, it's crazy. They don't like white kids.
Where you live? What part?
I live in Charlotte. I've lived in like the hood, like my whole life. But like I've always been like, I've never like wanted for anything. Like I've always had pretty much what I want, or like what I need at least. I've never wanted for food. But like even then, it's like these corporations, so bad.
I gotta get some light going on here. Sorry, 1 second.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I live in Canada, Alberta, so I live in Lethbridge, so that's near the Montana border. But we have racism and shit. But it's funny because I make racist jokes at work to Asians. Like, I work with a really tall. He's like really tall. He's taller than me, and I'm 6'4", right? And like, first day I worked with him, I looked up at him and I was like, whoa, you're just breaking a bunch of stereotypes right now.
Yeah, like, wow.
Wow, holy shit. One guy was, what did he do? He burnt fried rice, and like, I'm just a prep cook, right? So I just go back and forth, do a thing. He burnt fried rice, and then I walk by him and I'm like, oh, you just saw a family. You lose focus. My boss starts laughing. My boss straight up. And this is the thing. I work in a Japanese restaurant, but it's ran by Chinese people, and most of the workers are Filipino. All right? It's just like there's this one lady that just talks only in her language, and she'll always come up to me and is, what is and just like I'm supposed to understand, right? I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. I've watched so much rice, man. I identify as Asian now. So.
I got like a few black friends, and they're like super emo. Like, you know, like a lot of the black guys here will like wear just the really thug hood shit with like it's the generic black kind of like stylized shit, and my friends, they wear like the Asking Alexandria shirts and the fucking And I'm just like, what the fuck are you wearing? Like, this is not normal.
Listen, I this is fucked up to say, but it's not really. I was at my first concert, 18th birthday. My brother took me to System of a Down in Edmonton, and this is one of the last concerts before they fucking broke up, right? A wicked concert. So many memories. One of the main memories I have is just this black dude wearing these fucking, like, past the knee cricket socks, right? With this punk hair. And he's just like, he stood out so bad, even more than me. And I was wearing fluorescent Hunter orange. So my friends could see me because I was on the floor, right? So I was wearing bright orange. Yeah, like, oh man. It was funny. No, it's just like, no, it was a good concert though. Yeah.
There's a really weird style that I think is like kind of trying to come back. I think it's called cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk. Is that like steampunk, but like...
It's like, yeah. So like think about racism, but like goth. And it's the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my life. I'm just like, it's like, I do nightclubs. I don't do raves or festivals, you know, like,
yeah.
You see like the guys and like, you don't get in unless you got a white shirt on, you know, that kind of club. Like I like those.
But you're a black shirt guy.
Yeah, you're right. No, I'm saying like my outfit's actually like, I got some money coming. And I'm pulling a Mark Zuckerberg. Like, I don't like picking out clothes every morning. So I'm going to order, I got a bunch of these black V-necks. And then I got like 2 of the same pairs of pants and like black shoes. That's been my outfit for like a year. I just wear the same shit. And people are like, do you just wear the same clothes every day? I'm like, no, I just have multiple copies of the same outfit.
Me, I mostly wear the same clothes.
Damn.
I don't care. Girls think I'm weird, man, and I'm in this weird, like, I've always been in this weird sexuality place, all confused and shit. So I'm always weird too, and I'm always awkward. So I'm like, I figure, whatever. There's no point.
She gets really mad. She's like, do you see the girls looking at you? And I'm like, no, I don't pay attention to that shit. And she's like, oh my God, they stare at you. I'm like, there's no way. Like, I would notice that. Like, you're serious about
I'm a super, like, that's the thing too. Like, I'm 29 and I'm still confused with my sexuality. Yeah, I'm, because I've had those experiences, right, that propelled me into, like, are they the experiences or whatever? But I'm in, like, I've always been in this place. Am I bisexual or am I not? Like, is it lust or is it love? Because I've never had those types of feelings for a guy. But I've also been, like, wanting those. Like, I'm like, if I ever had those feelings, I feel like I would explore them. But also it's like, I'm recognizing them as a point of, like, lust. And I'm bringing this up as, since I identify as a Christian, and most Christians say, you know, homosexuality is an abomination. The Pride Fest was today, and I walked through the Pride Fest to work, and I spent, like, 5 minutes walking through, and I saw, like, 6 people, like, half naked, you know, just like some strap-ons, and and there's kids around and shit, and I'm like, I'm trying to figure out the shit within myself, and I'm like, is this what being gay is? Is this really love? Yeah, or is this lust?
Yeah. My girlfriend, she's like, do you love me? I'm like, honestly, like, you're kind of young, I'm kind of young. I don't know what love is, you know, like.
Yeah, what is love?
I have a feeling.
Get all philosophical on her. What is love?
Like, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me no more. I'm like, and I'm so upset because I'm like, I should say, like, yeah, I love you. But it's like, I don't want to just say that and it be like this cringy ass, you know, like, oh, I don't mean it. I'm just saying it to say it now because everyone says it.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, I care about you. You know, I'm worried about your well-being. Do I love you?
So on the terms of sexuality, do you feel attraction to women, or do you just not, like, is it just not really is it like an asexual type of thing?
I think for a while it was asexual. I was kind of like, I don't even know. Like, I don't really care, about sex. I wasn't actually, for a long time, even my mom was like, "Are you gay?" And I was like, "No." I'm like, I just don't see the big deal with sex. And it was like, she's like, "Are you gay?" I'm like, "No, I'm not gay. I just don't see the big deal with sex." And I don't know why I was like that. I told my girlfriend, I was like, she's like, "Are you asexual?" I was like, maybe. Like maybe I'm asexual, but it's like we had sex, and we've had sex multiple times, and I've never like,
Yeah.
I never like thought it was a big thing. Like you see people walking around, they're like, "I fucked that bitch yesterday." I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Like I don't care. You have sex, good thing. Like keep it in the bedroom. Don't tell me about it. So like I guess it's a lot to do with the way that I grew up seeing sex. Like. Because grew up in a Christian household, you don't talk about sex all the fucking time. But on the streets, people are like, "Yo, he fucked her, she fucked him, he's gay, she's gay," and they're like, it's a big thing. People always talk about it. But for me, it was like, it's not a big deal. Okay, you fucked some girl. Like that's not my business. I don't care. But I never felt attracted to men. Maybe not like. And that, like, I've never really felt attracted to men. I'm not just saying that because I'm on live stream right now, but like, I genuinely.
Well, that's why I told you that personal shit first, as kind of like a doorway into opening up more personal discussion.
I will say the asexual thing because I think it was that for a bit. Mm-hmm. I was kind of like, I don't see the big deal with sex. I don't even think I wanted to have sex for a very long time. I was like, just fuck it, I don't care. But as for like me being attracted to guys. No, it's never been that. I mean, everyone goes through that phase. Like, nobody can say, like, they never thought about it, Like, nobody can say that. Everyone's always been like, "Yo, what about, like, there's more than one gender?" Like,
Yeah, that's the whole thing, though. Like, with all these safe schools and all these things happening, that's, like, influencing our kids, too, and puberty blockers. All I know is that I'm 29 now. I'm still sexually confused from the things I've experienced when I was, like, 6. From 6 to 13, just doing stuff, right? Like, I'm still fucked up from that time, and I'm still confused. So, like, are you telling me that, like, all these things aren't going to affect these kids in a negative way, or like in a way like?
That's how they will.
I don't understand. And then you got these like, fuck, man. It's just like that's the whole thing. Like the gay pride parade I walked through today. Like I'm all sexually confused and I'm trying to figure myself out. And I'm like walking through this gay pride parade and I see fucking naked people grinding on each other and shit in front of kids. And I'm like, is this it? I don't want
it. By gay people, and they're like, "Oh, I hate straight people." I'm like, I can understand like you felt like you're being oppressed, but to hate straight people is kind of
it's all excuses. It's excuses, and it's connected to it's that whole division between this LGBT and everyone else, and then like Black Lives Matter or whatever, and whoever else, and just all these divisions, little fights that we have, they're all connected within themselves, and they're all a part of this bigger agenda of fear, just like misunderstanding and just wanting to attack each other, and like in these times that we need to be united, and we have someone like me, like I could have been there and I could have been like taking video or whatever and asking questions. But because I didn't have a rainbow flag, would I have been judged? Even though I am, like, I've had experience with guys. I don't know if I'm bisexual or not. That's the confusion, right? But, like, there's just all these things. Like, I would be afraid to – I was afraid to do that today. Like, I didn't want to do that because I was afraid I'd get, like, just judged by people who are supposed to be open. And I don't know, man. That's the whole thing with everything.
There was our city got shut down for like a few hours. Like there was a violent riot and a few things happened, and I don't know exactly everything. But the next day at school, we had like a protest at the school. Like kids literally just left their fucking class. Like I'm dead ass, and they stayed on campus. We've had police at our school like numerous fucking times. Like, and I'm graduated now, but when I was there, we had cops there. All the like, we didn't have like hall monitor kids. We had cops.
Yeah.
And it was really bad for a bit, but my school was majority black. And they were asking me how I felt about it, not in a racist way, but like they were genuinely concerned about like how do white people feel about this. I'm like, most white people don't care, like a lot of the racist shit that you're fed is from a media that wants to feed you it,
I say it's about this system, and like everyone is a circum of their own, is like a circum of their own style. How do I say this, man? No one gets to choose what life they're born into and what experiences they have, right? It's not us. Some of us may be privileged. Everybody might be privileged. You know what I mean? But everybody's had these experiences in this life. I mean, we've all had different situations, but you know what's true? What remains true is that we all felt pain. We all know what pain is, right? We know these feelings to be. I just almost quoted Star Wars, but like, I don't know, man. It's all about connection, and we're not connecting with each other because we're just too busy.
We're worried about how we're different, not how we're alike.
That's the thing too, right? And being judged for being different too. I know I am. I'm always scared.
I was upset when this shit started because I remember when this wasn't fucking happening. I was alive, and we didn't care about this shit. But I go to school and it's like, oh, you got white people. I'm like, it's ridiculous.
What does that mean?
The more I think about it, I'm like, I'm a white guy in a hood, right now. But when I was born, like I lived in a big house, like I had shit. I had toys and gifts, and I had Christmas with my family, And maybe it's not like a white thing, but it's more like, I grew up spoiled, I had everything I fucking wanted for a very long time. But me, like, that didn't necessarily help me, having everything I wanted. That wasn't, something that necessarily I think is a good thing. Because it's like, you become this person that's always dissatisfied with everything. I'm never satisfied. Like I always want something. I'm never happy with what I have. And that's kind of my problem. And I think everyone to an extent does that. So is it privilege? Privilege can be a bad thing. If you grow up in a big house and you never want for anything, and you're going to grow up a dick, and you're going to grow up by, somebody who doesn't know what the fuck is happening. But if you grow up in the hood, you grow up with, friends of all types of different cultures and races, and you grow up with these people because, you're all poor, you're all suffering, you all understand what the fucking deal is, And, I've lived, I had white people problems, like my parents divorced, my dad lost his nice job, but he was still, he was still making money. I'm angsty, I'm angry at the fucking world and shit, and that was my problem. There's people out here worrying about if they're going to eat dinner or not, And I didn't realize that at the time because I was so spoiled. That was my privilege, I didn't have to worry about food on the table. But mentally, I guess that matured me a little more mentally. But again, it's like you're awestruck if you never learn what the world is like, You've lived in an
experience, right?
I've never had that experience. So when I lived with my mom and then I ended up in foster care and I'm in DSS custody and now I'm living with a black man, like my foster parent is a black guy. He takes better care of me than my father has in a very long time. My father still takes me out and does shit, but is my father here paying bills that go over my head now? My dad raised me, but it's like, this guy's taking care of me now. And I don't want to say that to my dad, I want to tell him that, you're being a bad parent. Like, okay, I'm 18 years old, really, where's the line at? You should be taking care of yourself. Yeah, but it's like, I told you what was happening with my mom, I told you what was going on when I was up there on top of that mountain and she was beating me and, I was 16 and I told you that shit. He never he came up there maybe twice in like 9 months. My mom was beating me while she was pregnant with her next kid. It was disgusting. She's a filthy son of a bitch, like I hate my family. They never look out for anybody but themselves. You grow up with a well-off family. Everybody's in it for themselves. you grow up in the hood, everybody's got your back, you know. You might deal with a little bit more drama, you know, but I've seen it, you know, because I live in the hood now. I've seen how these communities are so tightly together. I could understand feeling like the world's against you. You know, I could get that. I can understand feeling like the white guy's got the privilege, you know, because he's got the nice shoes and shit. But at the end of the day, it's like, who's better off? Because you're in the hood, but you've got experience. You know, this guy's going to get out in the world, and daddy loses his job, and he's got no money. What the fuck is he going to do, you know?
It comes down to love, too, because, like, I find that the more connection you have, the more love, right? And then these people, whether they in power, whether they be white or not, they have this money and this power, but they don't know real love, I don't think, right? Because they're too busy getting this.
My dad was like that. He was, and that's kind of why I question whether or not I'm loving somebody when I say it. He's very cold, very calculated. I can tell he cares. I can tell he loves, but it's like 99% of the time he's not going to show it. He's not going to just tell me he loves me, you know? He's not going to do that. He's a very logical person. I'm a very logical person. My studies tell you differently, but, like, I am not the things that I study. I'm a hypocrite, you know, I really am.
Yeah.
I
think we all are on some levels.
Like, I can be like, yo, just let the universe flow through you, but it's like, I'm sitting here not doing that, you know? I just don't. I don't know how to.
Someone like me though, someone like me would say, you doing that, sitting there, like drinking that fucking drink, talking to me right now, that is the universe flowing, right? Because the universe is always flowing. That's the thing. Like when I fucking went through my fucking shit, you know, a few years ago, and when I spent all that time, like, you're 18 and you're figuring this shit out, right? I didn't start figuring this shit out till fucking I was 27 and I was done, you know, dealing drugs and causing a lot of pain and receiving a lot of pain. And I didn't figure this shit out till then, and I started walking, right? That's and I realized though, like, everything I done, all that experience, that was everything I needed to learn in order to do what my dream is now, which is to just try to awaken people to this spiritual side. And like to me, like, you doing here, like, you being this, that's all part of your fucking, like, in this moment. There's living in the moment and being in moments. Living in the moment is what people talk about, where it's like that fucking magical state where colors are vibrant and sounds are beautiful. But in the moments, there's everything are in the moments. Time isn't TikToks. It's a series of moments. You and me right now with these 4 people watching, this is moments. Right, and we move from moment to moment, and I don't know, man. It's just it's so complicated to, and it's such a hard path, man. But like you are so, like, intelligent and wise beyond your years, and you may have not had the same experiences as other people, but that's the point. We all have these different experiences, so we can learn from each other. But we don't learn from each other, do we? No, we just fucking come into our own little groups and we separate and we say this is right and this is wrong. Like, science disproves religion, or I think it's all together. I think it's all the same thing. I think it's all part of the same truth. Like I think evolution is a part of creation. There was one grand moment. In that fucking moment, the grand epiphany, where everything, like bugs, I saw everything, sounds, everything was working together like a giant machine. And the way the universe works, like how you were explaining before with the planets, all these things lining up, like how can it not be just some part of this grand machine, like someone just set up, okay, you guys are good. We blame all these problems on this God entity. Like, why doesn't God fix all these things around the world? No, it's like we have all the tools to fix these things around the world. We have all the tools to help ourselves.
Yeah.
How do you deal? How do you deal with shit? Like, you used to be. I'm sure you have your problems now, but I'm sure they used to be more. You know what I mean? Like actually,
this is probably the worst time in my life, honestly. Really? Yeah. I don't, because you know, when things get bad, they get worse, you know, and you start realizing how good you had it, you know. Like, you don't know what you had until it's gone. I mean, you just don't. So, right now, I'm 18. I'm going to make a lot of stupid fucking decisions in the next 2 years. I just really am. Like, there's going to be shit that happens that, I'm not going to be proud of. But I'm taking a very risky move. I plan on moving to Miami. I've never left my home city. Never. I've never left this city. This is my city, but I see it falling apart, and I feel like I got to get out. This is not something that I want to do. This is something I feel like I have to do. I don't want to leave Charlotte. I don't want to. I guess I kind of do, but at the end of the day, it's like I shouldn't have to. I should feel at home where I am. But I've never felt like I'm at home here, and I've never felt like I'm in a good place here. And I could go to Miami and I could die. Like I could go to Miami and there's a million fucking things that could happen.
You can die anywhere. You can die anywhere, anytime.
My friend told me, he's like, listen, tell me right now, you're not doing shit up there, so why not just come down here? I mean, he's right. I'm not doing anything here. I've been in DSS custody for 4 years. And everything is garbage, Like, I've been eating the same foods for 4 years. I've been living in the same four-walled bedroom for 4 years. I've been dealing with the same shit for 4 years. I've been wearing the same clothes for 4 years. I mean, everything, now I graduated, and they're trying to kick me out pretty much. They're like, listen, if you don't get a job and if you don't do something, the program that you're in, we're going to cut you off even more. We're just going to kick you the fuck out. My foster parent doesn't make any more money keeping me here. He used to make about $500 a month. He makes nothing for keeping me here now.
Because you're over 18.
I'm over 18. He gets about half of that. That's not enough to take care of another human being. I'm sorry. It's just not. And DSS gets away with this shit because they're like, well, we only have to give you the minimal, so that's what we'll do. And it's ridiculous. I mean, I don't make any money here. The minimum wage is $7.50 here. You pay out the ass in taxes. I mean, and then, you got lawyers spamming you in the mail because they know you're going to fuck up, I have
$7.50. Holy shit.
Dude, yeah, I got paid $7.50 an hour. An hour. And then you don't even get enough hours for that to even make a difference in your life. $7.50. What was that making every 2 weeks? About $200 to $300 every 2 weeks.
It all goes to cost of living, right?
I mean,
it goes all back to the system, though. Like, what's stopping you now? What do you have to do to do this plan, to execute?
To get to Miami, what's going to happen is, now that I have a court date coming up, it's a first offense, and it's a misdemeanor. It's not a felony. It's nothing like that. It'll be about maybe like 6 months probation. I could probably handle that. The key is you got to trick people into thinking that you're doing the right thing. You gotta look like you're doing the work. And you live in the hood. You're really good at that. Like.
I understand. I understand what you mean. Yeah, I did that all through. That's how I passed school, man. Just barely getting there.
Look like you're fucking doing your shit. And that's what it is. I gotta get some money together. I'm gonna bail the fuck out after I go back and be like, hey, can I get my record expunged? Yeah? Okay, cool, let's do that. And then I'm gone. I don't give a fuck. They're not keeping me here. They're not going to try to entice me with deals and shit. Like, I don't do that, okay? They cut my funding. Like, I used to get reimbursed for clothes that I spent my money on, They're like, no, you can't do that anymore. We'll give you $500 for graduation. That's it. Have fun. Invest that,
Man, see, this is the thing. This is the problem. You are a being of logic. That is your dominant trait, is logic. And to follow your life path, you're going to have to think with your intuition and with your heart. And sometimes that doesn't make sense, because sometimes that intuition and that heart is just like you're sitting there one day and then you feel that strong push, that urge, you just feel it in your body, in your fucking soul. Like, I got to go right now. Or you like, I got to do something like that. That's it. But in your brain right away, logically, it's going to be like, oh, but why? And you're going to keep thinking all these things. But like, you got to just, I don't know, man. I don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, just go do whatever. But man, you got to follow.
You got to think. I know a lot of shamans and shit. They'll be like, no, just let the universe guide. Like, no, don't
No,
fucking do that. That's stupid. You can do that after you're done thinking about it. Okay. Make sure you got
there's a sense though, because it's like it falls into place though. Because like in my experience, the way it worked for me was like, okay, it was do this, do this, do this, right? And it wasn't why or what's going to happen. It was do this, do this, do this, and in between the do thises were those moments where like, okay, this is why I'm doing this, which is leading me to here. And when I get there, because it's so simple, right? It's just step by step by step, like a ladder. You just
don't get absorbed in these things. Don't get absorbed in logic, and don't get absorbed in intuition.
It's balance, right? It's a balance.
That's literally, and I didn't get that for a very long time. I'm studying something that I'm not going to be very good at for a very long time because I'm super logical, and everything has to fall into place like I want it to.
Yeah.
And, when it comes to getting a job, making money, paying bills, shit like that, you do have to think with logic because that's what the world runs on. So you got to do what the world asks you to do. You got to play the game to win, like you can't like sit there and flip the fucking board over and be like, I won. Like people are going to be pissed off at you. Don't do that.
So if you don't mind me digging a little deeper, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like what in this time in life, you said this is the worst time of your life. Is that what's making it the worst time? Is the fact that you're stuck there and you're feeling bad for the guy that's struggling to take care of you because the system is fucking you? Is that the only thing, or what else is making this the worst time?
I feel like a lot more now. I'm feeling what people feel like. I guess my empathic qualities are coming out a little bit more recently. I get it. You care about kids, and then the state doesn't give you enough money to take care of those kids that you care so much about.
Or they give you too much and people abuse it.
Yeah, and then he's a super logical guy. This is a Christian guy. This is a logical guy. And I'm that same way, but at the same time, I'm thinking like you. I'm like, well, shouldn't you have a little bit of both? But he's been suffering for so long that he can't imagine any type of opinion other than his own. And he doesn't listen to me half the fucking time. We get in arguments all the time, But I guarantee you, if I get rich and famous, he's getting a big ass check from me because I do care about him. He doesn't see it. For me, it's like I've been abused by my parents. I had some mental issues when I was younger. I was doped up on pills for about 10 years. I was starved by my stepmom. But right now, I look back on, things that I wrote and I'm like, well, I still kind of feel that way. And it's been years, So I feel like now it's like I'm done. I'm not done growing, but my opinion is set in stone, I figured out what I feel, for the most part. Because things have been so consistent. And I realized, when I was younger, I wanted consistency. And then it's like, I don't want that anymore. I'd rather be out here doing crazy shit. I'd rather be getting drunk every weekend. Maybe I would want to fucking trip on acid or something. But my logical brain is still like, no, Ezra, you don't want to do that, you fucking dimwit, and it's just this conflict,
I understand the problem, the feeling like the past is still getting at you, right? Like I got my own shit, like we talked about earlier in this. I understand that feeling completely, but if I can give you my honest view on this, man, you're giving me things that happened in the past, and yes, you acknowledge them that they're in the past, and yes, they feel like they're in right now. But right now, you're in a spot where you're not where that is.
Yeah.
And where that can affect you in any way, other than mentally, other than what you allow it to. And we all have that, right? That we all have that attachment to the past, those regrets. And we let it control us, man. We can't let it control us anymore.
No, you can't. My self-awareness is probably the only thing keeping me out of hospital right now. Self-awareness is probably the most underrated thing that a human being can have. Because I have a lot of shit happen to me. Everyone does. People handle it differently. To understand that it's literally just you. Like, it's in your head. To understand that it's just in your head is the most important fucking thing in the world. Because it'll absorb you. It'll kill you if you don't, you know. I was talking to a group of people, and they were like all looking at me, and they were saying, this is probably like one of the few spiritual experiences that I had. And they were like, there's like 12 people in this group, and they're like, out of all of us here, I'm pretty sure you're like going to be the strongest. You know, you're going to be the guy who's able to get shit going. And I didn't know how to feel about that. And my friend, you know, he elaborated on it. He was like, you're able to be in darkness, but not absorbed by it, you know? A lot of people, they're able to recognize darkness. They don't want to ever confront it. I live in it, you know? I deal with it every fucking day. I'm not a very positive person, you know? But there's got to be a lifeguard on duty. There's got to be somebody to warn others, you know? Yeah. What is that? There's a movie, it's got Heath Ledger in it. It's about the Catholic Church, and it was about sin eaters. And
I don't think I know it. If anyone watching knows it, please comment.
Yeah, it's a movie that he was in, and literally the ending, I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't seen it. Literally go watch that movie because it's super political and it's super spiritual. During the early Catholic period, one of the things you could do was if you didn't want to pay the church a stupid amount of money, you could go to a sin eater. This was a person that was going to go to hell. This was a person that was literally unsavable. And a sin eater would literally take your sins onto himself. And he would go to hell for you, basically.
That's fucked up that you said that, because the first mask I ever made was called the Sin Eater.
Oh, shit. And this person, he would suffer for you. So Heath Ledger played a guy who was going after this guy because he thought it was an abomination. You know, he was like, this is stupid, you know, just pay the church. And then he ends up becoming a sin eater himself. And he realizes sin eaters are immortal. He can't die. So there's got to be somebody in the darkness who is telling others to stay away, you know? I feel like that's my job, you know? I've got to tell other people what not to do and what to do. Not because it's my opinion, but because from my experience, I feel like you won't be able to handle it.
I understand that actually all too well, that feeling. At the same time, though, that's like, we can't, it eats away at you.
It does.
It's more, to me, it's more powerful yourself if you can stay in that darkness, but like be light. You know what I mean? Like, be that positive, that like, yes, these are my demons, but they're mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You don't want to.
Ezra, listen, man, I don't know exactly what life you've experienced, man. These are the things that I know about you. You're 18 years old. You're wise beyond your years. You're away from the abuse and the things that have happened to you, and you have this whole path and experience ahead of you waiting to be explored. You know, I know you're talented. I know you're creative. I know you're logical, and I know that you can figure shit out. I know you're not those things that you think have made you. I know you're not those buildings. Those things are just what we've built in front of us. Those are our experiences. Those things aren't us. And I know you can do it. And I know there's great things ahead of you, man. If you make it, man, and that's the thing. You gotta make it.
Yeah, I mean,
you gotta believe in yourself too, bro. Because you are, man.
You're probably miles ahead of me. In the amount of time that you've been able to figure shit out, at least.
I had a different experience, bro. I did a whole 40 days in the desert type deal. Like, you know,
yeah. Yours is trial by fire. I like that.
And that's just because that's the circumstance I ended up in, and that's what I decided to do with it, right? And now, even though I've experienced like that connection I had with this force, universe, whatever we want to call it, that was the happiest and most powerful time of my life. And right now, am I nowhere near close to the connection I had with that? And I'm struggling towards it, and I'm also struggling to. But this is part of my dream, right? This is my dream, and I get a lot of fucking judgments and weird looks too, right? Who fucking says they want to be a fucking spiritual leader in 2000s?
That's one of the things I'm
for science rules, right? Who says that? Whose dream is that, right?
That's what I'm afraid of too. Is like I'm afraid of the looks. As much as I say you shouldn't be, I'm a hypocrite. I'm afraid of the looks. I don't want to be the guy, walking around town with the.
It's hard not to be, and it all comes back to the system. The system that people are thinking privileges certain types, but no, it's a system that is just designed to keep us all fearful and separated and away from the truth. And the grand truth is that we all deserve this love, and we're all part of something bigger than ourselves. And we need to understand that. And we need to get to this place in life where we understand that. And it's not about how you get there. It's just about getting there.
There was I don't watch anime very often. But there was one that I liked when I was a kid. It's called Yu-Gi-Oh! And you probably remember it.
Oh yeah, I was big into Yu-Gi-Oh, bro. Yeah, fucking.
There was a character on there who was a billionaire. He had everything. Seto Kaiba, and he's not the main character. He was the anti-hero. Everyone's like wondering, why are you such a dick? Why are you such an asshole? What the fuck is going on? It's like nobody in that show. I realized at the very end, I was like, nobody one time was like, hey, maybe let's try to see it from his perspective. Nobody thought like that. It comes like so naturally. You want to understand things from people's perspective, but it's like you just can't. Sometimes you can't.
A beautiful example of that is in fucking Harry Potter, right? Deathly Hallows with Snape. I love that, man. Like, I
actually liked Draco. That was probably my favorite character. And I know he was a cunt. Okay,
Oh yeah.
I know he was a little bitch boy, but like at the very end, you can look this up. J.K. Rowling, and I hate her as a person, but J.K. Rowling actually had a scene in there that she cut out. When they were filming, Draco was supposed to, at the final battle, throw Harry his wand, and that was going to be his redeeming moment. She left out Draco's one redeeming moment from that movie, and I was like, why would you do that? I guess it's like, because for her, maybe she's like, I know she gets offended when people talk about her books, theories and stuff. She'll get super fucking offended, like, I don't know what it is with her. I think she's tripping balls 900% of the time. She'll get offended. And I was like, Draco wasn't, if you look at the movies, there's a few hints. The very first one, The Philosopher's Stone, Draco takes a page out of a book. And when what's-her-face was on the table, she had a page in her hand, right?
Yeah.
This, Hermione is not going to rip a page out of a book. That doesn't make any fucking sense. She's not going to. So for her to have a ripped out page of a spell book in her hand is not, that doesn't make sense. Draco earlier did that. He ripped the page out of a book. Why would you even show that? He could afford this book. He's rich. He can buy whatever the fuck he wants. He could have bought this book and just took it home. No, he ripped the page out of it. And I think what that means is Draco knew what was going on. Like he's not his father. His father's he's worse. His father's a Death Eater. Draco never killed Dumbledore. Draco was never a murderer. Draco probably never even wanted to kill anybody. It's like he was afraid. He let fear get a hold of him. There was no redeeming moment. So you'd have to actually look at his character to figure out what was going on. And I like that. At least it's part of the movie. Snape is like, you kind of knew Snape wasn't going to be an asshole forever, because they touched on his character. They never touched. They never touched on Draco. They never explained what was going on with him.
There's so many. I just love how like synchronicities in movies. I love those, and how like Do you ever feel like there's like these hidden messages in movies, like especially when it comes to like Disney and Blizzard and stuff? Do you ever?
Disney, I actually hate Disney with a passion. People will like literally cut my throat for that. Two movies I really like: Inception, and there's a movie by Leikai that I really liked. Leikai doesn't make a lot of movies that I like either. I was like 13 or 12 when this movie came out. The movie's called Coraline. You can still get it.
Yeah, I know Coraline. It's a good movie.
That's a good movie, but it was targeted to kids. I don't think if you go watch that movie, but it shows me how times have changed. That movie was, targeted to that demographic, and then if you look at like the reviews from parents, it's like, fuck this movie. My kids don't need to see this shit. But Inception was another movie that I liked. When I was younger, Inception didn't come out until I was older, but Inception was kind of like my reality check, I guess. In the movie, they go so deep into the dream that when they wake up, you have no idea if they're in the dream or not,
Yeah.
And then at the end, it's a little sketchy because he's seeing something that he experienced in his dream like a long time ago. And it's weird because you don't know if he's still in a dream or not, but you think he's awake. Because if he's not, he's in a fucking coma, and then he'll just die in a coma. But it's weird to see, like, I guess, the reality of dreams and your subconscious and how deep it can go and, what all it can do. I literally lost track of everything I was thinking about.
Well, isn't it like 4 a.m. where you are right now?
It's like almost 3 in like a minute.
It's like 1 a.m. for me. It's all right, though. Man, I don't know. That was a fun little movie break. Have you ever, I'm sure have you ever like thought of a song while you're listening to the radio and then it's like, or just like anywhere and then it's like the next song or you hear that song?
No, I don't. I don't experience synchronicities like that very often.
Really? Shit happens to me all the time. And
it happens to other people. And I guess that kind of frustrates me because I get kind of jealous, I'm like, why doesn't this cool shit happen to me, Why do I don't like it?
I think a lot do, but I think your mind is so logical and also busy.
Yeah.
You can't notice it, right?
I don't, that's my problem is I'm studying, different paths and shit that are completely different than who I am as a person. And maybe that needs to change. Recently I've studied necromancy. There's not a lot of information.
The dark arts.
My house is Slytherin in Harry Potter, if you want to know. That's not a joke. I can show you. I have a profile. Necromancy for me is like, people are like, oh, it's evil, it's this shit and this shit. I'm like, no, that's incorrect. Necromancy is more or less just mediumship, but it's a different level of mediumship. And it's not something I don't think I'm ever going to be good at. But it is something that I really care about because to be able to, like, on somebody's deathbed, like, show them what's going to happen. People die and they're not at peace. People are like, well, you need to put these spirits to rest. They're not going to be at rest if they didn't die at peace, And to me, and that's my opinion, necromancy is a way to kind of fix that. I was reading an article on it, and it was like necromancer
fixing of putting the spirits to peace.
Yeah,
but isn't that then? Can't you say necromancy is like in forms of every religion that does that?
And that's kind of a weird thing. Is the word necromancy is something that people will immediately associate with something that it's not. If you have a necromancer, you have somebody who's wanting to talk to your dead family members and be like, oh, they're okay, let me comfort you and stuff like that. And
that's just another form also of mediums and stuff, right?
Mediumship. And so necromancy is basically mediumship.
I only went like this because there's so many, you know, like in everything, the shit we're talking about is improvable. You can't prove that shit exists, right? It's just conversation.
Prove it exists.
You can only prove it if to other people's, like, everybody has their own perceptions, right? I've had my experiences, but I can't perfectly convey those experiences because it's illogical and it's like it doesn't even make sense in my head, those things that happen. How do you put words to that? And like I can find words that are in balance. Like I can say, like, you know, live your life and love, whatever, blah blah blah. I could try to make some sort of picture of my experience that a person could take if they wanted to form their own, right?
Yeah.
That's like with everything though. Like, and that's it's like you're saying at the very beginning of this whole thing that we did. It's perception, right?
Yeah. People, a lot of times, their perceptions are automatically, it comes from your surroundings. So if you grew up in a Christian household, chances are you're going to be Christian. This is a really cool story. I was talking to a girl online. I'm not going to say any names or do anything like that. She lives in Romania.
Yeah, that's cool. How long have you known her?
I actually haven't talked to her in a long time. I think I deleted my messages and I lost her. So if she's watching, she is.
Lost you.
Romanian princess. I was talking to her and she was like, we were discussing her religion and everything, and she's like, well, I live with a Jewish family. I was adopted by a Jewish family, but my real family is satanic. And I was like, oh, that's odd. And she was like, yeah, so I study Satanism, but in Romania, it's illegal to study Satanism or to do magic. That country is very old. They're still very superstitious. So I found it really odd. You know, some people, you know, they turn from the quote-unquote darkness to the quote-unquote light. She's going from perfectly acceptable religion to, you know, her family is Satanist. Her real family is Satanist, so she wants to study that.
That's the thing. I know like I said before, I have a few Satanists on my friends list because I like to keep a lot of people of different perceptions on my friends list because that's the way to grow. But some of them have proven themselves to be morally better than some of the Christians I've known. You know what I mean? Like,
I've met Satanists that are just great people. You know?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. Like,
so funny, man.
Everyone, like, I don't know. It's so confusing, right? Because these labels and stuff tell us to hate each other, and it's also this system tells us to fear and not understand. But really, the secrets lie within ourselves and each other, right? Like,
I found it so admirable for a girl to, like, yeah, this is quote unquote the wrong thing to do, but I mean, it's your family, you know. You didn't know your family. You want to go find out what's going on. But it's like Satanism, you have this opinion of it, you know. You don't understand it. I mean, it's a little complicated. I've got LeVay's books on my phone, okay? I can pull them up anytime I want. But it is a complicated belief system, I'll say that. But it's like you go from being Jewish, you know, basically, to Satanism. I went from a Christian, I guess I you know, in the beginning I'd consider myself Christian, but it's like, I never felt at home in a church. I always felt like I was being judged, you know, by everybody around. I always felt like, yo, get up and go to the front altar. I'm like, no, I'm sitting here, bro. Like, I'm not doing it like that. I just never felt at home. I always felt like this show, you know, this performance.
That's the thing. A lot of people feel like that, but they don't recognize it, and they still sit there.
They still sit there, and they're like, it just.
And that's in every religion, right? It's people. It's people because they have those tastes. They have those tastes of the spiritual side, and they think they have some sort of understanding, but they're confused. So they latch on to people who've had similar experiences. And instead of figuring out their own experience and learning more, they latch on to other people's and this idea of it, and they get into the mental state.
Yeah. And it's easier. It's much easier. It's so much easier to just not fall down the rabbit hole. You know, you see it, you're looking at it, you can avoid it if you want to.
Just go through the motions, daily motions. Like I went from nothing really to a Christian, right? But I'm not a church Christian. I'm not a text Christian. I do recognize I recognize synchronicities and power within synchronicities, and if they're connected to things I read in Scripture. Like if I pick up my Bible, flip open a random page, and if that connects to something in my life, yes, I recognize it. But my definition of Christianity does not rely on the Bible. It relies on experience.
This is a book that my mother gave me. I don't ever really touch this anymore. Oh my God, phone. I don't care. All right, so this is my journal. I don't use it. And really, when I did use it, I just tore every page out of it later because I changed my opinion. But when I moved out of school, sorry, what the fuck am I talking about? It's 3 a.m. When I got put in DSS custody, I went to live on a fish farm with this elderly couple. And my mom actually remembered my birthday. She didn't come see me, funny enough. She remembered my birthday, and this is what she got me. I said I wanted a journal. And on the inside, it had a little note that said, when you come back on your 16th birthday, we're going to have lots and lots of fucking alcohol. Well, that didn't happen. She's never texted me ever again. We never talked. I don't even want to see her anymore, really. I don't really know why I haven't burned this. But on it is the tree of life. That's the symbol on it. I don't think you make that out at all.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
So, it's got some Celtic knots. I'm Irish, so. But they just picked this up at like a little store. And I don't know why it means so much to me. It really doesn't, I guess.
Listen, memories, man. Just because that thing, is tied to memories that may be bad doesn't mean it has to be bad. You know what I mean?
Blame this journal for what happened.
It's a nice journal, man. Like use it for good. Take your power. This is what it's all about, man. You have to just take your power back because your power right now is lying with all the people that have hurt you, man.
Yeah. Maybe they've got it. Maybe I let them get it, but
it's what we all face, man. It's the problem of humanity is we can't face ourselves.
When I was put in DSS custody, the guy I was with, he took me to I'm looking at a bunch of shit I don't even pick up anymore. But I do have it right here. And most places do not have this book. Most places do not actually sell anything by this author. But his name is H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh, yeah. I know H.P. Lovecraft.
It's a physical book that has a lot of his works in here. And I went in the store, and this is in the mountains, there's not a lot of shit around. And I was like, they're not going to have this shit. There's no fucking way they have this. They did. I still have it. It's been 5 years I've had this book. I remember I had a bunch of books, really. I took it to my mom's house, and she just left, and I never got any of my books back. So this is the book that I have. I don't even reach it anymore. I've got every single one of his works on my phone in a PDF file. I don't need this book. I don't need the book. I have the book, and I keep the book because it means something. Physically means something. It was a turning point in my life, It was an oddity, You're not going to find that book, a lot of places just not. You can pick up Warriors anywhere, you can pick up anything by, Harry Potter, you can pick that up anywhere.
Yeah.
H.P. Lovecraft is not something you just walk into a random bookstore and they have it,
Yeah. Man, I understand the attachment, man. I have a lot of things too.
I try not to get attached to things.
But that's the thing, though. Sometimes we need that attachment, right? We can throw away so many things, but there are certain things that, like one of my things, I'll never throw away is I don't see my son very often. I just got to see his face on Skype yesterday for I got to see him for 15 minutes. But man, I have this little toy truck that he used to play with and stuff that I've had ever since I left on this journey, because I left too because it wasn't good. Right, I was in an abusive relationship too, and his mom's all on drugs and stuff. And me with a criminal record, she'll always have more rights than me, because that's just how the system is, right? Yeah, the patriarchy, right? Anyways, it's just we have these things, right? And there are things I have gotten rid of that do mean a lot. I tend to keep cards a lot. I keep those for a while, then I'll burn them, right? Because for a year or so, they'll remind me that even though I am alone, yes, I am loved. The thing is, it's all about balance, bro. It really is, because you got to find the things in your life that you love, and more love, and hang on to them, and just build. It doesn't matter if you have books on your phone and stuff, right? But what if you lose your phone?
Yeah. Well, I've got it in the cloud, so it should be there, but I guess it's like I'm not physically attached to my phone, like there's nothing about this.
Yeah.
I could give two shits about what happens to this phone. I can buy another one. But there are a few things, like, I don't know, it's just, I don't like being attached to things because I'm used to, things leaving. That's kind of sad and pathetic of me to say, but it's like I'm just.
No, that's not sad and pathetic at all. That's.
Microphone went out. There it goes.
Is that better?
Yeah.
It's not shameful to be honest and open. To me, that's the strongest quality someone can have, is being raw with themselves and admitting the things. Because how else are we gonna fix ourselves? How else are we gonna connect with each other and fix the world and actually unite if we can't fix ourselves? It's all these steps and these stages. Man, brother, fuck, dude, you like, to me, you're so fucking amazing. You're You're 18. You're wise beyond your years. You have all these things ahead of you, and you're just bogged down by the shit that you're not there anymore. Like, these things are like that book, right? You have them, but you keep the book, but let the rest go. You know what I mean? Like, you're attached to things that you don't even have on you.
I tore that page out, and I still feel like I wished I had it.
When I was 18, man, I was fucking, I barely graduated high school. I was fucking already selling pot. I stole my dad's fucking car and I crashed that, and I was getting into a lot of shit. And up to 24, I started selling coke. I did a lot of shit, and now I didn't start thinking about the shit you're thinking about until I was like 27, and I started this spiritual trip. Like, you have so much ahead of you, but you got these tethers, man, these fucking bungee cords that are just attached to you, and you're running and running, and you get so far and they pull you back, man. And I think it's time to fucking to unzip yourself and let yourself be the person that you need to be, because you are a fucking amazing dude, man. You really are.
Thank you, man.
I'm not, like, come on, man. I'm 29 now, and I wish that I was, I wish that I was thinking about the shit you're thinking about. I wish I was like that, because you're on the right path, on the right stage, and you just gotta do it, man.
You've been doing this You've been doing this not as long as me, Like you said, I've been doing this since I was able to think. I've been thinking about this shit. When you were distracted when you were younger, but it's like you've made more progress than I have simply because you're more open.
No, it's not about being more open. It's about because I took the sacrifice and I took the steps. See, you're all thinking. You haven't followed your heart and your intuition and took the actions. You haven't followed your dreams. You keep getting pulled back. So you know all this stuff.
If I didn't have a court case in a month, I would not be here right now. Okay, like
Well, in a month then. In a month then. You know what I mean? Then you got a month, right? I can't. I have a probation on me with my charge for selling coke and shit. I can't leave the country for 10 years total. So that's another, I think, year and a half for me. You know what I mean? I got restrictions too. But the thing is, when I started thinking about this stuff, it was like I didn't have any. I was at rock bottom, right? I didn't have shit to lose. I was in the perfect position to do it. So it wasn't like, and it's not like I learned all this in that short amount of time. It's like I learned it all throughout my life. But I was too busy thinking about my regrets and my past that I didn't see these lessons. And when I got to this space in my time, I can now look back at those and not let my memory solely be around that. Instead, I can see the lessons that surround that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not that I'm learning more. I've already learned this shit. I have a lot. I've lived longer. I've learned this shit. We all have, and that's the thing. When we unlock ourselves, it's all about taking that step to unlock more. And once you unlock more, then more comes back to you. And in no way am I where I want to be. Not even nowhere close.
And you're not going to be satisfied.
No, not until I'm there. Not until I'm there. I won't be satisfied.
Even if you get there, don't be surprised if you're still wanting more. I mean, just don't be.
Well, that's the thing, though. That's the thing, because I've already accepted, like, I've experienced the actual moment. I've experienced the taste of enlightenment. You know, I know that if I'm truly on my heart's path, there won't be disappointment because I've experienced it. I just know it. There'll be minor disappointments, like, oh, this didn't work out the way I exactly thought. And of course, there's always going to be disappointments like, oh, I couldn't do this to this person. There's going to be those disappointments. But overall, I'll have an underlying feeling of happiness instead of an underlying feeling of like where I am now, where it's like, I'm in this grind, I got to get out.
Yeah. And that's what it is for me, is I'm in this grind and I've got to get out.
Well, we all are. We all are, right? It's the system.
It is, and it holds a lot of people back. I mean, there's good people out here who are suffering more than the bad ones, you know?
And that's the way it is, though. That's like, it's up to the people, like, it's up to us to help each other, right?
I'm not going to argue morality. Like I said, I'm not going to do that tonight, but... but the truth is, like, you know, there are bad people in this world who just, by basic moral standards, are ahead of everyone else. I mean, who runs the world? The Rothschilds? Are they good people? No. They're terrible people. I mean, it's really fucking disgusting, you know, like, to watch the world burn and you can only do so much, you can only do so little. People are the enemy. They're their own enemy. You know, they're afraid of everything. I'm going to bring Harry Potter real quick. I was thinking a while ago about, like, if Voldemort had won, what the world would be like, and I was thinking about, like, people are not going to stand up because they expected Harry Potter to kill the dude, you know? They're like, man, we can't do shit, this dude's dead, you know? And if you watch the movies, you know, when they thought he was dead, they were like, oh my god, it's over, you know? People are afraid to stand up to this dude. You know? They're not going to do it because they don't think they're strong enough, they're afraid, but I'm like, but the same thing goes with governments. The same thing goes with banks. The same thing goes with the system and everyone who's running everything. The people need to take back what is theirs. Period. You can't be afraid to lose. You have nothing to lose. You're looking in this universe of nothingness. There's nothing out here. There might be a few aliens. Okay? There right now. No, there's not. I mean, there's nothing out here for you. So you have zero. Like you have nothing to fucking lose. And I'm not going to tell, you know, somebody their moral conduct is wrong or, you know, what they're doing is incorrect, but it's like a lot of people can't figure it out. They can't handle it. They don't know what's right and what's wrong. And if they do, they have a very small idea of, you know, their personal moral code is fucked up. That's why I don't like Batman.
Well, I've experienced it too, yeah.
don't like.
I've lived a life too. Like I know there's like I've seen bad people do things. Like I used to be a person where it's like I had those morals, but like I used to set up people to get beat up, right? Like I did a lot. I've witnessed a lot of that type of shit. But I think personally, it's our duty as people who have suffered and recognize that suffering and get to this spiritual place. Like that's what my duty is. I shouldn't say it's ours as people. Like I don't know. I'm tired too. I'm so lost. But I'm going to go back to like in the terms of growth that we're talking about before. Like it all comes down to path too, right?
And I was confused when someone's like, when I started there, like, you got to find your path. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? You know, like I'm where is my textbook definition of path? Okay, like,
yeah,
I didn't know. I was really confused. I was like, what does that mean? What does that even look like? Like
your dream, right?
Yeah, like
from what I got, your end dream is to change the world with music, right?
I want to, yeah. I guess so. I don't know. I don't know my path. I do whatever the fuck I want. I mean, that's my thing. You know, like,
that's the thing. Like maybe you should take some self-reflection time, figure out some sort of meditation technique, and figure that out. Maybe that will give you. Because my path is to be a spiritual leader and to share that growth. I know that. That's what my dream has always been since I've been a kid, and that's like. Maybe that's why it seems like I go faster, because that's what I'm focused on, right? You're focused on so many other things. You're focused on so many other things, and you get so much, right? I'm focused on pretty much one thing.
You wanted to be a shaman when you were younger. I wanted to be a fucking fireman, okay? Like, I never had this in mind. I never had these... Like, okay, when I started music, I wanted to be a DJ. What a DJ is it just plays music. But then I got into music production and, you know, how to actually make music, and it became so much more than just playing at clubs and getting paid, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I felt this connection with the music I didn't have before, you know, when I was just playing it and listening to it and acting like I knew what I was talking about. When I sat down, I started making music. That's where I found my thing at, you know? And my music's terrible. I'm not going to link my SoundCloud. I have standards, okay? But if you want, it's / literally just my name. And
you have to link it out to me later.
Yeah, I'll link it to you. But I guess people, when they listen to my music, they're like, I made a song called Fading, and it was a song, at the very end I put in a heart rate monitor and something, and then like a girl crying that I just found on YouTube. And my friend was like, dude, you made me feel like I was dying. And I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't want... But like, and then I realized, I was like, yeah, I didn't make somebody feel like they were watching somebody die. I made them feel like they were dying. Yeah. And that's not something that a lot of music can do, you know? And I guess maybe I'm not going to stroke my own dick here, but it's like, that's pretty cool, you know, personally. I didn't think I was doing that when I did it, but when it was done, it was like, yeah, I can see that.
That's the thing, though. There's a fine line between being pride and, you know, humbleness. Or it's like you recognize the things that you're talented at and that make you feel good, right? And explore those things. You know what I mean?
I want to teach other people how to make music, because it's like music is one of those things that you just like you sit down and right about this time I would be making music if I had my laptop.
Yeah,
I would be like just. Because, you know, I'm talking to you in that way. Well, imagine if my music is coming out at this time and I'm thinking about this shit right now. You know, like, you start chirping and then your music starts speaking for you. And I like that. Music is able to, it shows you what you're really feeling. Some of the happiest sounding songs come out of the emotions of hopelessness and despair. There's a lot of happy songs that are written by very depressed people.
Yeah,
very sad, you know, very confused, lost people.
And that's just the power. That's the power, right?
Yeah, it's like music is like, this is how you really feel. You know, this is how, like, this is you running away on a keyboard, but it's like, when it's over and the music and the song is done, you're like, oh, okay. You know, like you get, like, that's how I was feeling. I didn't know that's what I was feeling, but when the song is done and then you're looking at it, like people can look at your songs and they like it and they're dancing to it and stuff, and then you're just sitting there like, oh. So that's what I was going through, like the whole time.
Hey man, listen. What inspires you first off? I wanna end this off soon because we've been going for a long time. But I want to ask you something first. What's your, like, when it comes to music? What's your muse? What inspires you? You know?
Nothing really inspires me. People like my friend. Actually, I did talk to my friend about this, and we're not friends anymore. But he got mad at me, and he was done with me and my other friend. He was getting so upset because we were judging his music. We were like, dude, this sounds like garbage. Can you just not hear it? Personally, to us, now I realize, like, okay, he was making cool stuff, but he thinks he's a fucking rock star, and his music sounds like shit. There's a difference. Like my music isn't intended to be, what it is. It's a piece of art to me personally. I treat it like it's art.
Well, maybe he did. Maybe he did too. You know what I mean?
And he did, but I think the thing is, he was worried about, like, oh, I'm not inspired by anything. There's no inspiration. I'm like, dude, that right there, you saying that is inspiration. Saying that you're not inspired, you can take that feeling of feeling like you're not inspired and get inspiration. Like,
So that's what you do?
And I take nothing and make something out of nothing. That's what I do. I'm actually very good at that. I'm really good at winging a situation. I'm really good at looking like I'm in a whole bunch of control when literally I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I'm good at that.
I think you got to get your laptop back and get some music going on.
I do. I actually have...
You got a month, right?
It's a piece of shit. This thing right here, okay? And I drop kicked it, but this thing is Lenovo 2005-2010, and it's got 2 refurbished stickers on it. This thing was gonna kick the can at some point. All right, like it's done. It can't do anymore. And it would cost me more money to fix it than to just get a new computer.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing's not worth what it would be to repair it. But with music, it's like, what do I get inspired by? Literally anything and everything. A lot of times I'll get on the phone with people like you, and I'll just talk, and I'll make music all night long, and that'll be my thing. And it'll start right around 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. Some people do rituals around that time. That's my ritual, okay? That's where I start feeling shit, and I get my energy gets a little bit high. That's what I do. 2, 3, 4 a.m. Pretty much every music artist will tell you that around that time, really, really early in the morning is when they make their songs. They don't hit the studio. Most of the artists that I talk to, they go to bed around 6 in the morning and then wake up at 2 and then they get back on it again. But their music doesn't start really taking off until later that night. I don't know why it is. I did hear something about, like, the realm between the veil between this realm and the next is thinner at the night around these hours. Times of the day. I guess that might be true. Maybe that's or maybe I'm getting it.
I think we should take that ability to create something out of nothing and apply it not just to your music, but right now. You know what I mean?
People out there who are depressed.
Listen. I know I'm tired, and I know you're hours ahead of me. So let's wrap this up. But listen, man, I'm gonna be real with you. Let's be real together right now. When you go to sleep tonight, man, why don't you go to sleep remembering that you are an awesome person, dude. Honestly, all right. You're not this shit that's happened to you. Okay, that's not. You're away from that now, and you're getting ready to move on to the next step. But you won't be able to take that step if you have that shit holding you back.
There are things that need to happen first. Literally, there's things that need to happen first. But
let them happen, make them happen, whatever you got to do.
Yeah, I have to work a little bit harder.
In the end, happiness is a choice that we have to make as individuals.
Yeah, I get it. I don't know.
And you, like, dude, if only you could see from my eyes right now, man, like how much fucking potential you got.
It's funny. I hear that so much.
Well, then maybe you got to start fucking believing it, right?
You don't want to fail. When people say that, you don't want to fuck up. You don't want to fuck up, so it's hard to take risks. You want to make sure.
The only person you can fail is yourself, bro.
Yeah. That's pretty true. I mean, I don't want to
All right. All right. Hey, man. It's been awesome talking to you.
Thank you. It's been
all right. And I cherish this connection. Let's do this again sometime. And go to bed happy, man, because fuck, dude. You deserve it. All right?
Yeah, you too, man.
All right. We'll end it, and then we'll have our little private session.
I gotta pee. All right, man.
All right, bro. Have a good night, man.